So this is Jennifer Jones, the director for the Geauga-Trumbull Solid Waste District. If you are just tuning in, we're about to get started for our scrap tire grant information session as part of our 2026 Community Grants Workshop. I'm the director for the Geauga-Trumbull Solid Waste District. We are the funding people for the recycling. If you're here for the scrap tire grant, chances are you're one of my 55 communities, one of my cities, townships, or villages. If you are not one of my cities, townships, or villages, you probably shouldn't be here, but which I'll talk about in a minute. Welcome. So as a note, today's presentation is being recorded. The slides and the recording of the workshop will be available for download on our website. Each individual session will be broken up into pieces, and you could download, you could watch or download each section from the YouTube page. You can watch it or download it and see what you missed or review maybe some of the information in this. By listening in and participating, if you chat or ask questions at any point during this talk, you are acknowledging that you are aware that today is being recorded and you give permission for us to do that. If you could also go directly to our YouTube site if you want to type all that stuff out there. That's our YouTube page, but the link is available on our website, which makes it so much easier just to click. All right, we're here about our scrap tire grants. We're going to go over the grants, how you're funded, what your amounts are, how to apply, and how to fill out the closeout reports, etc. So who is eligible for a scrap tire grant? If you are a city, township, or village in Geauga or Trumbull County, you are eligible for a scrap tire grant. If you are outside of Geauga or Trumbull County, you are not eligible. If you are a nonprofit or a school or a business in Geauga or Trumbull County, you are not eligible. This grant is specifically to help communities collect tires for their residents. That's our entire purpose. We don't collect tires at our collection facilities. We don't have the room. So we give money to each of our communities to have tire collections for their residents. That's you guys. All right, the funding amounts. So the funding amounts are based on population, tonnage, and other factors. The budget, my board of commissioners, which is the 3 Geauga commissioners, the 3 Trumbull commissioners, set aside $150,000 for tire disposal grants. That money is divvied up based on population and problem areas for tires and some other factors that we actually redid the calculations a few years ago. And the amounts that you get are set. This is what the board decided on. So this is if you have, we reassess it every few years. We probably will be reassessing it in the next year or so. But right now, the amount that's you are offered is the amount you're offered. No overages will be covered. So if we offer you $1,600 and you spend $1,800, $200 of it is on you. The other you can't. In the past, we would say, well, we have some extra funding available. We'll go ahead and cover that. That is no longer the case. We are always over budget now. So overall, in our entire our project, all of our district budgets, you know, we are over budget every year and are slowly whittling away our savings. So we no longer have any money for overages. Now that we're operating 2 full-time sites, and with COVID and the cost of our household hazardous waste has more than doubled, and our drop-off sites has gone up ridiculously. We do not have any additional funds for overages. So you have to plan accordingly. We can help you with that. The purpose of this grant is to reduce illegal dumping. We don't want your residents to throw them in ditches and whatnot. So we help you give your residents opportunities to dispose of tires properly. And we can work with you individually to help you choose vendors to best suit your needs for your community. I can't stress that enough. You'll hear me say it many times because it's really important. All right, before we get started on our grants, I just want to make you aware, now some of you who've been here a while, you're aware of these, but I like to say for the newbies, the EPA offers a no-fault program. It's direct funding from the EPA. If you find tires, if your road department goes and picks up tires illegally dumped all over the streets, you know, here and there and everywhere, all year round. If you collect up to 100 tires, if you collect 100 tires or more, I apologize. If you collect 100 tires or more, they will come and pick them up from you free of charge, free. You don't have to use my money. You don't have to use our district money. You don't have to use your money, township money or village money or city money. The EPA will come and get them. You just have to fill out a form. I have the forms. The forms are online. I can help you with the process. Use their money. They have more of it. So it's called a no-fault program. So for public land, so people dump in a park or they dump on your property or your township government property, or they're on the roadside in the ditches or on, you know, like stuff like that, or train tracks that are government property, that are public land, wherever there's public land. If there is at least 100 tires, they have a minimum of 100 tires. They will come and pick it up. You also can work with like Hubbard Township, Hubbard City. If you or Green and Gustavus or Middlefield Village and Middlefield Township, if they gather 100 tires between the two of them and put them all at one site, but they're all roadside tires, the EPA will come and pick it up at one site, that they were all gathered, but they were all roadside tires. You have to affirm, you have to sign a paper. Yes, they were all roadside tires, but they'll come and get them, even though it's from multiple communities. They will work together, you can pick it up, but it has to be 100 tires or more. So smaller entities can work together. So if you're a little guy and you don't get 100, but you work together with 3 or 4 other townships, and they can come and you all get your tires picked up once a year, free of charge. EPA. You can apply online, or I can talk you through the process to do that. All right, so this is for residents. Residents come, they bring you some tires. This is the funding that you get. So in Trumbull County, these are the funds. It's exactly the same as last year. We did not change the amounts. So Portland gets $2,995. Girard is $4,083. I know it looks like weird amounts. It's percentages. It was a calculation. We took 150,000 and did, sorry. For those of you at home, I apologize. My screen disappeared for a second, but it looks fine for you. So those amounts, it's just a percentage of the 150,000. So it's a little bit weird, rounded up and whatever. So Hubbard usually works with, City of Hubbard usually works with Hubbard Township, Niles, Warren, all the different villages, etc. If you don't want to, if Hubbard City doesn't want to work with Hubbard Township anymore, that's fine. Just let me know and we'll split it back up again. But they've been doing it for so long, like Farmington and West Farmington. We just combine them together because you always do it. But if you really want to know what your individual amount is, let me know and you can have your own separate event. Here's all the township funding amounts for this year. Here's Geauga's city and village amounts. Oh, I should have taken Aquila out of there. Aquila no longer exists. They disappeared. They're now officially part of Clarendon Township. And so I guess it is hosted with Clarendon Township because it's only Clarendon Township now. I forgot to update that. They disbanded early this year. Okay. Here's the townships for geography. Okay. If you have questions about your amounts in the actual application itself, those numbers are in the application. So you have the second page or the third page of the application, maybe it's in there. I'll show you. It's just a list of what your money is. Okay, so you're going to have a tire drive. You decided to have a tire drive for your event. You've been doing it for 20 years. You've been using the same vendor for 20 years. You just call the same guy up. Hey, Bob, doing another tire drive. We want to do it on May 5th. Can you do it? That's, you know, you're welcome to use whatever vendor you want. We don't care what vendor you use. We only suggest that you shop around to save yourself money because, like, as I said, our funding is finite. We can only give you, if we said we were going to give you $1,612, we're only giving you $1,612. If his bill comes to $3,000, then you're on the hook for the rest. We can't do it. But maybe a different vendor might be able to save you money because vendors collect differently. Some vendors go by the tire. So if you're a smaller community and you only collect like 200 tires, A buy the tire company would probably be a better option for you. A company like Herdesky, or Herdesky works in both Trumbull and Geauga counties. If you haven't heard of Herdesky, they're located in Trumbull County, but they do both counties, and they charge something like $4 a tire. And if they have to go all the way to Geauga County, they might charge you an extra $50 total to drive all the way out to you, but they'll still only charge you $4 a tire for passenger tires. And then there's more for semis and more for ags and stuff. If you have more, then there's vendors who go by the trailer load. Like there's a vendor who just drops an empty semi trailer, and your workers fill it up. Now a semi can hold, if you pack it reasonably, I'm not saying you have to be an expert. If you're an expert, you can get 1,300 in there. I used to do these years ago. I've been doing tire drives for 15 years. I don't do it anymore, thank goodness. But back in the day, I could lace like with the best of them. So a trailer, you could fit 1,300 tires in it. If you carefully pack it, you could get at least 800, probably 1,000 tires in a trailer. A trailer is $2,400 right now. That's what it was in 2025. He was charging $2,400 for delivery, pickup, and disposal. Flat fee, $2,400 out the door. So if you get somewhere around the neighborhood of 600 to 700 passenger size tires, 600 tires plus 10 ags plus 50 semis, a trailer might be the best way for you to go. It'll be cheaper in the long run. A lot of, less and less every year. Oops. Many of you still do dumpsters, where a company will bring a dumpster. You fill the dumpster full of tires, and then they take the dumpster away after your big cleanup. You can do that. That's fine. You can do it however you want. The only problem with dumpsters is they generally charge you a drop-off fee. They charge you a rental fee for the dumpster or some kind of dumpster fee. They charge you for the tire disposal. They charge you fuel surcharges, and there's usually like all these fees. And it can work to be way more expensive than just having a pile of tires somewhere in a corner, throwing a tarp over it, and waiting for a company like Herdesky or Wholesale Tire that go by the tire to come and just pick it up on Monday. That might be a much cheaper option for you. So you have to watch for the extra fees. Let me show you an example. So community number 1, they get 200. This is the left side, everything on the left side. This is a smaller community. They get historically, they get 250 passenger tires, 15 truck tires, and 2 oversized big aggish tires. If they were to go with a per tire vendor, like Herdesky, Wholesale Tire, even Liberty Tire does per tire settings too. There's a couple options. I can provide a list of vendors. I'm happy to do that. If they were to go with a per tire vendor like Herdesky, their bill would be approximately $1,500. To have that same collection with a dumpster company, once they pay the container fee, the delivery fee, the fuel surcharges, and the tire disposal fees, that same collection cost them $2,325. If we are providing them with $1,600 in funding, their first one is completely paid for by us. The second one, they're now on the hook for $700 out of their township coffers. It's the same collection. Just be smart. Know what you typically get. We know that you never know exactly what you're going to get from year to year, but you have a general idea. For the last 5 years, you're getting about the same amount of tires. You kind of know. You're not going to get 250 tires for the last 5 years, and then this year you're going to get 3,000. It just doesn't happen. Okay, community number 2. They get 450. You can also choose whether or not to take them with rims and not rims. The guy with the trailer doesn't care if they're on rims or not. 20, you'll see that option number 2 trailer, $24 out the door. Rims, no rims, big, little, fat, skinny. We don't care. He's a flat rate guy. Okay, so we get 450 passenger tires off rim, 175 on rim, get 5 truck tires off rim. Those are like semi tires, and 1 big old ag tire off rim. They went with a per tire vendor like Herdesky or Wholesale Tire, something like that. They with the math, doing the math at $4 a tire, $6 a tire, truck tires, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Their bill was $3,050 for those approximately 700 tires. $3,050. Had they went with a trailer, it'd have been $2,400 out the door. All 700 of those tires would have fit in that trailer easily. So they could just shove it in. The differences are with Herdesky, you put them in a big pile, and with the per tire people, you put them in a big pile somewhere, and their workers come and pick them all up, load them up in a truck, and take them away. The trailer, it's a little bit more work because you got to have a guy in the trailer and a guy unloading the cars, throwing them up into the trailer, and someone throwing them into the back of the trailer, loading the trailer. So it's a little bit more labor. I admit it's a little bit more labor to have someone, you have to have one extra guy or one extra worker. I say guy, I shouldn't be so sexist. I used to do it. One extra person up in the trailer, loading the trailer up, one or two extra people, depending on how busy you think you are. I have done events when I worked back before I worked here, I worked in the city of Youngstown. We would regularly fill 4 trailers in 4 hours, 4 setups. I know how to throw tires. Yeah, we would get something in the neighborhood of 6,000-7,000 tires in 4 hours. So we always went by the trailer. always. So because we always knew we'd fill them up. So these are just saying you can continue to do what you always do, but know that our funding is finite. So we're going to cover what we always cover, and anything over and above that is on you. Okay. And if you want help picking a tire vendor, if you're not really sure if you should use the same guy, the same company, ask us. We'll look at your historically. I have records from since I've been here 6 years. I've looked historically, see what you normally collect, and we'll see if that's a good choice for you, to continue on with what you're doing. Okay, so here's some of the vendor choices. Herdesky, Liberty Tire, Wholesale Tire, or Per Tire. Some charge by the ton. Forgot to mention that. There are not very many of them. Dres Smith, who's new, by the way, they're located in Ashtabula County, and they service both counties. Dres Smith does by the ton and by the tire, as does Liberty Tire. Perrysville Iron and Metal is the trailer guy. He's also called Arm Wrestler. He's a funny guy. His name's Gene. He's hilarious. If you're the trailer, there's only one guy who does buy the trailer. His name's Gene, and he's quite the character. I can introduce you to him if you want to go with, if you get a large enough collection where you want to go with the trailer. Jim, I always say Doherty does dumpsters. Penn, Ohio is a popular one for dumpsters. Waste Management does dumpsters. Now I have seen them occasionally do by the ton. Most of the time they do dumpsters. And Dres Smith does by the tire or by the ton. Oh, and there's also, I forgot to put them on here. There's Willig. Willig is new, was new this year. Willig Tire, I can provide you with them. They do by the tire, by the ton. They don't do trailers. They do by the tire and by the ton. So I can provide you with their contact information as well. Okay, so finding and filling out the forms. This was a tire collection. All right, now here's the technology part. Let's see if it works. Click on this. Here we go. Here we are on our community grants page, at which our website is startrecycling.com. If you go to our main page, there's a picture of this on the main page. You can click on it and it will take you here, or you can go to other activities, community grants, and it will take you to this page. Then if you scroll down, I don't know why this keeps doing that. There's this little accordion thing that has all of our options here. So there's community. This is information about the workshop. This is where the videos will be later, by the way, and the slides. Information about the community, the Go Green grants, the drop-off grants, and now scrap tire grants. Here we are. Here's some information about the no-fault program, that EPA grant, which I can give you more information if you want it, but those 100 tires that are in ditches or on public land, this takes you directly to their website where you can apply for that grant online to have them come and pick up those tires. Oh, and also, if you get signed up into that program, just as an FYI, that application is good for 2 years. So if you sign up for it once and you collect 100 tires, and 6 months from now you have another 100 tires, you don't have to fill out the application again. You just email your contact that they give you and say, hey, I'm ready for another pickup. And they send another truck and they pick up another 100 tires. And they just keep coming back for 2 years. They'll keep coming back. That application is good for 2 years. So if you get an awful lot of tires, like City of Warren or some of the more larger population areas that might have problem tires, Warren Township. Trying to think some Mespo had some issues with tires at one point. They can keep coming out. Okay, so here we are. You could either download the grant application. If you click on download the grant application, it will open up a window where you can actually download it and print it. And then you could fill it out by hand and mail it into us or scan it and email it. We're going to apply for it online. All right. Continue. So okay, so we're at the drop off, the scrap tire grant application. So you fill out who you are, email address, your contact information. Now, scrap tire grants are a little bit different than the Go Greens and the Digs because this grant funding is guaranteed. There is no competition. We already set aside your allotment, whatever that allotment is for your community. We've already set it aside. Do you want it or not? Basically, this form says, I want it. That's it. So you just have to tell us, yes, I want it. This is who I am. I want it. We're going to have our collection on such and such a day. We really love this information because we create a spreadsheet and we put that spreadsheet up on our website and we also keep it at our desks because all spring and summer long, we get residents calling us and asking us, I have tires. How do I get rid of them? Well, where do you live? Oh, I live in Bainbridge. Oh, well, Bainbridge is having their tire collection on June 30th. You can go there at such and such at this time, at this location, and they're taking this number of tires with rims, and they'll take ag tires. You know, that's why we ask you for all of this information. That way we have it all at our fingertips and residents can know. We also put all that information on our website so residents can go to our website and look at it and see all that information at a glance. So hopefully it keeps phone calls from coming to your administrative offices asking, when are you doing a tire thing? How do I get rid of tires? They call and ask us, and we have all that information. So just fill that all out for us. As much information, as much detail as you possibly can.
The online people aren't seeing the slides.
The online people aren't seeing the slides. That's annoying. I'm so sorry. Let's fix that. So sorry about that technical problem. We'll edit that out later as if nothing at all. All right, so backing up a little bit. At the top of the screen, you'll see, just ask for your name, who you are, who you're representing. Then we just, as I said, you just want to know as much information about your collection day as you possibly can provide. Date, times, where it is, what kind of tires you're taking, how many number of tires you're taking. Some communities say only up to 4 tires per resident, per household. We'd like to know, is it part of a bigger community cleanup event? It's just nice to know that. People ask us, are you taking tires with rims? Some communities don't. Are you going to be checking IDs? Yes or no? Are you going to take bigger tires? Are you only limiting it to passenger size tires? Any other details you want us to know? If residents have questions, who should they call? Give us a phone number. Please type a phone number in there for where to call to get more information. I have 12 tires, but it's for my Aunt Susie's house or whatever. You know, people always want to have more information. Some communities do curbside collections, especially for the elderly. Are you planning on doing that? When is that going to happen? How many tires are you taking? Who should they call to sign up? This is all of this information. If you're having a curbside collection, not all communities do that, but if you're going to do it, please list it. Leave it blank if you're not. If you are expecting who you're planning on using as your scrap tire vendor. If you're not decided yet, leave it blank. But if you think I'm going to be using Liberty Tire, I'm going to be using Perrysville Iron and Metal, great, type amendment. Then what is the total grant amount requested? See grant awards in page 2, so we can page down. look, here's all your numbers. So they're all here. If in case you didn't know what they are, they're on page 2. You type it in up here, and then you sign it. Whoever your authorized official is to sign. So I'm going to sign. Oh, I'm going to type in. Let's see. I do document. All right. So I filled. Now imagine I have filled all that out. Okay. I'm going to click to sign. And then I'm typing in my. This is my your email. You type in your email because what this system wants to verify that you are you. So it's going to send it to your email address. So type in your email address here. Click to sign. Great. All right, so it says just one more step. We emailed you a link. So I'm going to go check my email. You will see it says, please confirm your signature. The very first email. Ignore all this Donald Duck stuff. That was all the sessions I've done this morning. Okay, please confirm your signature. So you will open up that email. You have to do all these steps or else I don't get your application. So you open up that email. The email will have this little message that says, confirm my email address right here in the middle. So you just click on that. And then it sends it to me. So you will get a message at the top of the screen that says, your e-signing of the scrap tower grant application has been verified. It's now been emailed to me for my signature, to Jen for her signature, which is me. Then I will send it. Then I will sign it. The reason why we do this is because sometimes it's a bit glitchy in the past. It only happened twice in 5 years, but people have sent in the application and it can get to me. Technology happens. And so now we're requiring this year that I have to sign every application that I received it. It's just a little signature line on my part. So I am going to show you what my side looks like. Here's my email again. At the very top, it says Batman has signed the scrap tower grant application. And then right below it, it always sends me to. It says your signature is required on this scrap tower grant application. So I'll open this. And up will come. Okay. So this will all be all filled in. Obviously, this is Batman's application. You know, he signed it at the bottom. And so I will just sign here that I received it. And click to send it to you. And then you will get confirmation from me that I signed it, which tells you that I saw it, I signed it, and it's in my queue for approval. Now, these scrap tower grants are already approved. They're already, the funding is already there, the money is guaranteed. We just really want to know, some communities don't have a tower drive every year. So this is just making sure that you're having a tower drive and giving us the information of when you're having it so that we can tell residents when they call, and we can be prepared to know when we're going to get that closeout paperwork from you and that we're going to be even receiving paperwork from you for reimbursement. Okay. Now, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I've been talking for hours. Okay, so we filled it all out. I've sent my confirmation. You're all good to go. Now what? How to get reimbursed. You have your collection day. You collect your tires. There's a reimbursement form. The form is available online, and I will email it to you. Once I get your application, I will email you the reimbursement form. If you lose it, that's fine. I can email it to you again, or you can download it from our website. It's up on that. It'll be up on that website on those expandable sections. I don't put them up. I don't put the reimbursement forms up until the grant application section, the application area deadline is closed, because people will fill that out instead of the application thinking they applied. So, and they get very confused. So I don't put it up until after the deadline to apply. All right, forms are available on our website. If you have multiple events, if you have a spring collection and fall collection, that's perfectly fine. You can ask for reimbursement after each event, or you can wait to the end and put all the receipts together and send it to us at the end of the year. just let us know. There's a place on the form that asks, is this your last collection of the year? And we'll know whether or not to leave that purchase order open. All your final reimbursement requests are due by November 30th. That helps us get your reimbursement out by the end of the calendar year. This is the one grant that the digs and the Go Greens roll into next year, into the following year. The scrap tires, we like to keep them in an annual year, in an actual calendar year, because you guys have collections every year and it gets confusing, you know. So we like to have them closed out by the end of the calendar year. All right, so here's the reimbursement form. Super simple. Well, not super simple, but simple. So you fill out the top part. When did you have it? Did you have a tire drop off? Who are you that's filling it out? What days did you have your event? And then just the number of tires you collect. The reason I ask this, the EPA makes us fill out a form at the end of the year, cataloging all the things that have been recycled in our district for the entire year. Remember that 8 million, if you were here an hour ago, we recycled over 8 million pounds at bottles, cans, jugs, jars at our drop-off sites. That's one of those statistics that they like to know from us. One of the things they also like to know is how many tires did we recycle? So if you report in tonnage, that's great. Tonnage is so easy for me. If you know you recycled 2.46 tons, report that. But if you go with Herdesky and they tell you by the tire, report how many tires, and I'll do the math. An average passenger tire is 25 pounds or 22 pounds, depending on whatever the EPA's conversion factor the EPA is using this year. And I could figure out the tonnage myself, but I need those numbers so I can report it to the EPA. Or if you can either do up here number of tires, or if you get reports by the tons, like Liberty Tire will report by the tons. Waste Management reports by the tons, etc. Dresman reports by the tons. And if you do a trailer is the only confusing one, because you just fill up a trailer, it's $2,400. You're going to have to kind of keep track of how many tires you collected, because he's not going to give you weights. He doesn't. He just says, I picked up one trailer. Here's your bill. So if you could just either keep track of how many tires you picked up, or tell me the trailer was about 75% full, I can ballpark it best we got. And then I could follow up with him later and see, because what he does is if your trailer is only half full or 3/4 full, if he has tires laying around the yard, he throws the tires in there and then takes the trailer and recycles it. So they may not all be your tires when he takes the tire trailer to the place for recycling. So his numbers aren't entirely accurate for just you. May not be just you. Anyway, so do the best you can. Give me a ballpark with trailers. And then what you spent down at the bottom, how much you spent on tires, what our grant amount was based on that award letter, and then your reimbursement request. So simple, easy peasy. Then you just have to attach copies of your receipts, copies of the invoices from the company, whatever tire vendor you used, copies of the 2 or 3 parts, which are scrap tire. If they're a legitimate scrap tire, you're required to use a scrap tire transporter, a licensed scrap tire transporter. You all usually do it. You haven't had a problem with that in the past, but you can't just have Bob down the street take care of your tires. They have to be licensed scrap tire transporters. It is a felony to carry more than 10 tires in a vehicle, unless you're a community. If you're a street department vehicle, you have a waiver. But if you can't, a business cannot carry more than 10 tires without a license. Otherwise, it's a felony. So they have to be a licensed scrap tire transporter, and the fines are tremendous. So most communities know this. So they have, as part of their requirement for being a scrap tire transporter, they have to provide you with something called a 2-part or a 3-part. It's a multiple. Back in the day, you write on it and it goes through to multiple pages. Carbon copies. It's a carbon copy paper. You write on it, they get the top copy, you get the middle copy, and the place where they take the tires for recycling gets the bottom copy. That's why it's a 3-part, 1 copy for each of you. If they handle the tires themselves, like Liberty Tire manages the tires themselves, they use 2 parts. because they pick them up and they give you a receipt. That's the only copies they need because they're managing the tires. They recycle them themselves. So there's 2 parts and 3 parts. So the second page of the reimbursement form is they have to fill out, you fill out who you use, the transporter, where the tires ended up. That's on the 3 part or 2 part. If they list it on there where they took the tires. And at the very bottom is this. Is it, will you be sending us another bill later, like for a fall event? Yes or no? And then you mark the box. This is it. We're only doing 1 collection. This is it. You mark the box. Then after we pay you out, we close that purchase order. The end. We're not able to reimburse you anymore after that. And then the reimbursement is due in November 30th, 2026. See down there, you just fill that out. Okay, so the grant schedule. Because this grant is guaranteed and we don't need a board meeting to discuss who's getting their funding. We just like to have that information by the end of February. So February 27th. So it gives you a little bit more time, a whole nother month to talk with your trustees or your city officials to decide when you're having your collections. So you get those dates set for the spring and the summer or fall. That way, when you fill out the forms, we have all that information you need, where you're having it, when you're having it, how many tires you're having. You've got all that set because you've already talked about it at a trustee meeting or a township meeting or a council meeting, whatever. So we give you a whole nother month to get us that information. We'll open up the purchase orders in mid-March, just like all the other ones. And then you have to send us the paperwork by November 30th. Once again, like all the other grants, if you do it earlier than that, if you have your event in April or May, and you get all your bills and everything in order by June, and you want to send us the paperwork, we will reimburse you in June. Not a problem. But you have to send it to us by November 30th. If you have any questions, please, there's my name, phone number, email. If you want to get vendor information, if you want to see previous last year's forms, 2 years ago forms, how they filled it out, whatever, please call me. If you have questions about tire collections or whatever, Andrew is great for stuff like that. He's the hands and feet kind of running the facility guy. And Lisa is the person you want to call if, hey, did that check go through yet? Did you mail out? Did my did my reimbursement request get processed yet? That's Lisa. So ask her, she's the payment person. So she handles all of the fiscal responsibilities for our district. Any questions about the scrap tire grants? Anyone in here? No. Great. Anyone on the phone? You can unmute yourself. There's a little button somewhere, the little microphone. You can unmute yourself or ask in chat. Is everybody in chat? What? Some people were asking for a list of the vendor contacts and vendor information. Honestly, I might put that on the website too, but if you want it, just email us or call us and we will email it to you, all the contact information for the vendors. And if you want me to look over your bills and help you see what might be good choices, let me know. Okay, I've covered this a couple of times already. If you've been here from the beginning, I apologize. It's the same old information. Share this with your residents. Our paper shred days next year. Their residents are welcome to go to either facility. Geauga can go to Trumbull, Trumbull can go to Geauga. At the Geauga facility, the paper shred day is Saturday, April 25th. At the Trumbull facility, it's Saturday the 9th. Both of our collection facilities are open year round. Trumbull, it's Wednesdays. Geauga, it's, I didn't put it on there, Fridays. That's a typo. Fridays, 10 to 3. For electronics, appliances, and styrofoam. At Geauga, we also take HHW, which is household hazardous waste, which is the flammable stuff, chemicals, oil-based paints, pesticides, stuff like that. Fluorescent light bulbs, batteries, canisters, propane tanks, all that fun stuff, cooking oil. In Trumbull County, we stopped taking most of that in the winter because it's an older building. We just don't do that. But we still can take a limited amount of HHW. So we take batteries, canisters, fluorescent light bulbs. I'm forgetting something. Definitely those. I think it's one of the, nothing liquid, nothing pesticide-ish. Yeah, batteries can. Small propane, like camp cylinders and stuff. Okay. Our 5-year plan, if you saw me come out to your communities recently, last summer, it was a big push to get our 5-year plan approved. It was approved by 98% of our communities. Thank you so much. That goes into effect January 2026, good till 2031. Yay for us. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you for attending. All of the information for this session, as well as all the other sessions, will be up on our YouTube channel next week. All the slides will be available on our website, and the links to our YouTube channel will be on our website. So, and if anyone has any questions or has difficulty filling out the forms, please feel free to call us, ask us. You have a few months to get all your ideas together. If you have questions about some of the other grants, if you have questions about whether or not it's eligible, please let me know. But as far as the scrap tire grants, I did want to mention the only thing that we can pay for is the actual scrap tire disposal, or things related to that. So like the dumpster fees, the fuel surcharges that are related to the actual scrap tire disposal. I can't pay for your workers to work that day to collect the tires. I can't pay for any food that you have that day. I mean, just simple things. It's just the bills related to the scrap tire vendor and his coming and taking away your tires. That's basically it. Okay. Thank you very much, and have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope to see you all and get all your applications in the new year. Thank you.